Hello everyone! So my name is Ása and I'm back again here with the course Lærum Íslensku or Let's Learn Icelandic. Today I'm going to talk about the letter L. I decided to do L, the letter L, completely on its own because the letter L is a pain. It's a complete pain. It's a pain. Okay, it's a complete pain. And it's probably almost as difficult to teach as it is to learn. So I think it's best that we just focus one lesson on L only, and then I can just talk as much as I want, use as many example words as I possibly could need, and then I don't need to worry about go over time in all this explaining, because it's quite complicated. But we can do it, can't we? I think so. Let's go. The good news is that when L is at the beginning of word, when you have a single L in the beginning of a word, or when you have L in the middle of the word, one L, and it's surrounded by vowels, it's completely normal. Okay, it's completely normal. One example is, for example, the word ljós, which means light. Also like the verb of loka, which means to close, and also the word that we had in the lesson number 3, I think, huala. In these cases the L is completely normal. So I wish I could say that the story ended here, but we haven't even started. The problem is really when you have two L's. So if you have two L's, then it becomes a problem. We have this famous sound that is quite random and weird, but we have it and we use it a lot. So if you want to speak Icelandic, you need to know it. So basically, at least as far as I'm aware of, there are 3 different pronunciations of double L. Okay, 3 different pronunciations. First of all, we have the normal one, like the normal double L that you will have in English. And this is, for example, for the word hello. Like the word hello, when I'm saying hello, then we have 2 L's and it's completely normal. It's like hello. Another example of when it's normal is very often when you have nicknames like Kalle, Halle, Palle, like normal male nicknames with 2 L's. In these cases, almost always, not always, but almost always, you have the normal pronunciation of the double L, like hello. Okay. Also, when you have words that come directly from English, and we sort of pick them directly up from English, then you also typically have this normal double L. And this refers to the word hello, but also word like, for example, grill. Like when we say grill, like to barbecue, we don't put any weirdness into it. Okay. And now we come to the famous pronunciation. The famous pronunciation, or I don't know if it's famous or at least infamous. Let's call it infamous pronunciation of the 2 double L. So this is what you have in most normal Icelandic words with double L. For example, in the word fjall, which is a mountain, or many other words. And let us go over how to pronounce this. First of all, most Icelanders say it through the side. So typically it's a sound that you say through the side. And like for myself, I always do it from the right side. I can do it from both sides if I'm sort of being enunciating and saying fjall. Then the sound comes from both sides of my mouth, but still it's like 70% here, 30% here. So, but typically Icelanders have one side that they favor, and my side is always here, so I say fjall. But if I try to say it with the other side, fjall, I feel like I'm really awkward and weird, and it's very unnatural for me. And I think this is true for all Icelanders. It's a very funny feeling trying to say double L from the wrong side. It feels like writing with your wrong hand. It feels wrong. So I would try both sides to see which one is better for you. I don't know if it's something that you're born with, or if it's just because you end up practicing always the same side. But for me, saying double L here, it's very weird. It's very weird and unnatural. Okay. So how do you say this sound? Actually, it's more like a DL, so it's like a sound a little bit, and you put your, so how do you do this? Basically, you put your tongue in place here, and you keep the tip of your tongue, you keep it pressed up to your teeth, up to the back of your teeth. It's okay if it peeks through or it's pressed up against the teeth behind. Either way is fine, but the tip of the tongue stays absolutely still, and then you force a breath and a DL sound from the side of your mouth. You can also do it through both if this is easier for you, but for most people, at least native speakers, they do it from one side, and that is more easy to do. So you do it like this, you say fjat, then from this side you blow a lot of air and try to do this like sound. So just try it, fjat, fjat, fjat. So as you can see, my tongue naturally falls a little bit in between my teeth. It doesn't have to, either in between my teeth or lies here, but it's the tip of my tongue stays still. All the action is sort of to the side, so it's fjat, fjat. Okay, fjat. There are plenty of words with this pronunciation. One of them is hot, 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 which means like a hill, and we call it hot, hot, like a mount, maybe a better word in English. Then also we have the word kjot, kjot, and this means like a dress. Okay, this is what I would categorize as the main pronunciation of the double L's in Icelandic. In other words, for example, 11, 11, and this means 11. Then there's a famous hero from the sagas, which is called Egill Skallagrímsson. He has two of these, both his name and then his last name. So basically, Egill Skallagrímsson. Just practice it and then you'll get a hang of it. Egill Skallagrímsson. Egill Skallagrímsson. Egill Skallagrímsson. Okay, so now we're up to the third pronunciation of the double L's. Okay, we have the normal one, and then we have the one, the Icelandic one, and then we also have a very soft, airy one that is like allt, allt. So it's actually more like a breath, more like an H than actually an L. So it's like an H with a hint of an L, something like this. Allt, allt. And this also we typically say from the side. It's more natural and from the same side as we do the other double L. So it's like allt. So we do the tongue and everything exactly the same as when we say allur, but instead of making the sound like DL sound, we just do a soft L that's mostly breath from the side. So it's like allt, allt. And this we typically do when the original word had the pronunciation like allur is actually the original version of the word, like allur. As you can imagine, it's a little bit difficult to say this Icelandic double L and then put a T afterwards. So if we try now, you can see it's like allt, allt. It's very it's very unsmooth and not the way to talk normally. It's allt, allt. Same as if you put S after the double T. I would say S and a T are the most common letters that are put after the double T. This comes directly from Icelandic grammar. And also if you say like alls, 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 like it's very difficult to say and it's very unsmooth and very unnatural. So instead we say alls, alls. So it's like a normal L with a slightly more breath sound than usually from the side. So it's like alls, 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 allt, alls. So especially when the T is there, there's a lot of breath, but also when the S is there, there's slightly more breath than you would have normally with a single L. Okay. The exception from this is, I mean, usually when you have the double double L, and then you have a consonant afterwards. Usually you have this soft airy L, like allt. But this does not apply if you have composite word. And the most famous example is probably the waterfall Gullfoss. Gullfoss. So Gullfoss is a composite word made out of gold, which is gull, and foss, which is a waterfall, and then it's the golden waterfall, or however you would translate it to English. And we say Gullfoss, and because these are actually two separate base words, then it doesn't matter that there's a consonant after the double L, we still pronounce the base word the same. Okay, so then we don't do this weird airy L. Okay, so, and actually when you do this weird airy L, it's almost the same, like if you have double L and then T, and if you have one L and then T. For example, you have the voice in a choir for a female, like a slightly deep voice, that's called allt, like not a soprano, but an allt. And allt, we pronounce it almost exactly the same as we would do allt with the two L's. I mean, the difference is so small, I'm not even sure I do them differently. So if you do them the same, it's completely normal. Wouldn't it be nice if the story ended here? Oh yes, it would be very, very, very nice. But it doesn't. It does not. Because we have the same thing. I hope you watched my previous lesson when we went over N. But here we have the same issue. That if you have, for example, R and then one L, like R and one L, then we pronounce it like the double normal Icelandic L. One example of this is karl. Karl. So karl is basically a man, and typically used for elderly man more than young man. And it can also be a name, so karl. And there we also use the sort of the sound. It might be slightly softer than fjall. It's like slightly airier, but the difference is very subtle. And the same goes for example for jarl, which is like earl. Well, we don't use this word much because we don't really have any royalties or anything like this in Icelandic. But if we talk about an earl, we say jarl, and then it comes this weird as L again. So this is the trick, that the rules are not completely set in stone. The rules are not completely set in stone. The basic rule is, like I said, normal double L, hello when you have nicknames or foreign words. This is not always true, but usually. The normal Icelandic double L is for most other cases, okay? I know this is another fantastic rule, but it's the truth. And then finally this airy L, this happens when we have the normal double L sound, but then comes a consonant after, so it's difficult to pronounce the normal double L Icelandic sound. So we sort of make it airy to make the flow of the talking more easy. So we say allt, alls, allt, alls. And again it comes out from one side. So I think this is enough for now. And like I said, these are, I think, very good rules of thumb, but I don't think they cover all the cases all the time. But it's the best that I can do for you. I'm sorry, this is the best that I can do. And I think for around 80% of the cases, I think these rules apply. Maybe even slightly more if we're optimistic. So at least this should get you started in trying to pronounce the Icelandic words. And I would recommend that you practice a little bit, because this sound is weird, but it's also kind of fun to say, like it's all kind of funny. So I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you are a little bit closer in understanding how exactly we pronounce the L. And now let's just go on to the homework and try to practice a little bit. Good luck. Just like we did in episode 5, I now show you 6 words that you've probably never seen before. And I just want you to try and see if you know how to pronounce them based on the rules that we talked about in this lesson. The best thing to do is press the pause button, and then you can take all the time that you need. Now I'm going to assume that you already tried, and I'm going to help you along. The first word is snarl, snarl, which means snack. And notice that because the R is in front of the L, it becomes almost like the Icelandic double L. The second word is gulla, gulla, which is a female nickname. And because it's a nickname, it has the normal double L sound, similar to other languages. Next we have the word kalt, kalt, and as you remember, double L and then T almost sounds exactly the same as one L and then T. So we have the soft L sound. Kalt, which actually means cold. So a very useful word for Iceland. Then we have lána, lána, and here the L is completely normal, and this is the verb to lend. Fulls, fulls is another grammatical form of the word fullur, which means full. And because there is an S after the double L, then we get this soft, slightly airy L. Fulls, fulls. Finally, we have another verb, að kalla, which means to call, as in to call someone. And here we have the very traditional Icelandic double L, að kalla. I hope you managed to get at least a couple of them correctly. In this lesson we covered many words, so don't worry if you don't remember the meaning of all of them. Just focus on trying to see if you can remember how to pronounce them. So press the pause button, do your thing, and then now I'm going to help you along. Ljós, ljós means light. Að loka means to close. Hola, hola means hole. Halló, halló means hello. Kalli, kalli is a nickname, a male nickname. Grill, grill is a grill or a barbecue. Fjall, fjall means a mountain. Hóll, hóll means a small hill or a mound. Gullfoss, Gullfoss is a famous Icelandic waterfall, which means gold waterfall. 11, 11 means 11. Alls, alls means everything's. Allt, allt means everything. Kjóll, kjóll means dress. Karl, karl means a man, typically an elder man. And jarl, jarl means an earl. Finally, we have the name of a person from the Icelandic sagas, Egill Skallagrímsson. Egill Skallagrímsson. That is all for today. Thank you very much.